in a world fueled by conflict.
You save your stories and now you just lost all credibility with you, really.
Belligerence.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth!
And malicious comments.
You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it.
Comes a podcast where none of that exists. This is the Snozcast.
Who the hell ever heard of a Snozcast?
Hey, laser lips! Your mama was a snowblower.
Just one question.
Ain't you got no ear holes?
Right turn, Clyde.
Hi, honey. Did you miss me?
With every bullet so far.
Shape, or you call it shape. With that perfume you wear at Catch of the Day.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to an unexpected special edition of the Snozcast. I am your host, Bubba Cush Bundy, and I will be your guide throughout our
stroll down Amnesia Lane.
Like always, I want to start off with a huge thank you for just a little bit of your time today.
Hurry up, will ya? I haven't got all day.
Like I said, this is an unexpected special edition of the Snozcast. When I first started putting this together, I had zero clue as to how much trivia came with this film.
You never studied.
There is so much, in fact, that I had to split it up into 2 podcasts just so I could include everything.
Yeah, well, you better get to work. Here comes your whole class.
This week's episode revolves around a staple in cinema history. Labeled a classic by many Gen Xers, it's the 1985 adventure film directed by Richard Donner and produced by Steven Spielberg, The Goonies. The story follows a group of kids from the Goondocks neighborhood of Astoria, Oregon, who embark on a treasure hunt to save their homes from foreclosure.
Something tells me there's more!
Along the way, they encounter a series of obstacles, including a family of criminals, secret tunnels, booby traps, and a dead body. This film is beloved for many reasons, but predominantly for its sense of nostalgia, thrilling plot, and memorable characters.
Now you see what I mean? It grabs you right off the bat.
The Goonies was released in the summer of 1985 and grossed $120 million worldwide against a $19 million budget. It opened second on the charts right behind Rambo First Blood Part 2 with a surprising $9 million. It grossed $63.9 million in the US and Canada, placing it among the top 10 highest-grossing films of 1985.
Impressive.
Taking in another $60 million plus overseas, it grossed a total of a little over $120 million worldwide.
Most impressive.
In 2017, the film was selected for preservation in the United States Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being, quote, culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
I mean, what you're saying is this...
The Goonies is a fun, cinematic experience. If you were a kid that grew up with a sense of adventure, then this movie is for you. The sets are incredibly elaborate, and the sense of adventure and hope that are given in this film are very inspiring and enlightening. And it all starts with the cast in this movie, which is also very elaborate in every sense of the word. Almost every actor has had since, or had before this movie, an incredible career.
Don't bullshit me.
Oh, I'm not.
Let me pay attention!
Starting with the script, there's tons of changes that differentiate the movie from the original storyline.
I hope the hell you're making a point.
Well, For starters, all the main characters are referred to by nicknames and their real names are rarely mentioned if they're mentioned at all. I'll only reference a few of these because I kinda doubt you care about all their real names.
No shit, Skolnick!
Beginning with Mikey and Brand, their last name is Walsh, and that's pretty obvious for those of my friends who have seen the movie. But how about this? Data? His real name is Richard. And Mouth? His real name is Clark Devereaux. And how about this one? Sloth? His real name is Lotney. Lotney Fratelli.
Of course, since you've each been addressed by a pseudonym, you'll have realized that nobody here is being addressed by their real name.
Now, as far as the soundtrack is concerned, the actual musical score wasn't available until 25 years after the movie was released. The main theme has been used in several movie trailers including Inner Space, Guarding Tess, and Scrooged with Bill Murray. That song was also re-recorded by Grusin and the London Symphony Orchestra for the album Cinemagic as well. Now, when it comes to getting confirmation of the trivia that I use, I find I rely on things like the movie's commentary, the makings of, Wikipedia, and IMDb.
I'm not a cheater.
In the documentary, The Making of the Goonies, the late Richard Donner expressed both the difficulties and the pleasures of working with so many child actors. He praised them for their energy and excitement, but also mentioned that they could be rather unruly when brought together.
They're horrible.
As a result, the documentary showed him coaching the actors and revealing some techniques he used to create realistic performances. If you actually want to see one of his funnier boo-boos in the film, as a director at least, you can actually hear him giggling when they film the scene which Chunk starts crying when the ice cream is taken away from him by Jake. If you listen carefully, you can hear him unintentionally giggling off-screen when Jake takes the spoon away from Chunk and Chunk starts to cry.
I said that they were gonna be buried.
Richard Donner also got to keep One-Eyed Willie's skull after filming Wrapped. Now, where it is now that he's passed is beyond me. I couldn't find that out anywhere. Another great piece of trivia on Richard Donner was a surprise gift given to him by Steven Spielberg. During the last week of filming, Spielberg told the cast to act cold and distant to Richard Donner, which confused Donner, especially taking into consideration how much time they had just recently spent together. After shooting Wrapped, Donner went to his house in Hawaii where he came home to a frantic neighbor which kept him occupied all day. Little did he know that Spielberg had a surprise for him. When he arrived home that day, the entire cast was there to celebrate the movie with a cookout. Spielberg flew the entire cast all over to Hawaii on the promise that they not speak a word of the surprise to Donner, which prompted them to act the way they did the last week of filming. One last bit of trivia before I move on to the cast.
Oh, God, don't tell me.
On the DVD commentary, Jeff Cohen, aka Chunk, claims that the confession of puking off the theater balcony is not based on anything real. This, however, is not true. The basis for the story was a real-life prank pulled by Spielberg while growing up in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's take a look at the cast.
Like that?
As I started research on this movie, I kept running into tidbits and facts that show how these cast members have not only kept in touch over the years, but also helped shape each other's professional life as well. Some of these tidbits are heartwarming to boot, so I hope you're ready for some really cool stuff.
Don't get all mushy on me.
This movie was the film debut for 3 of these fine young actors. Sean Astin,
I think I have a match. I'm sure of it. The lighthouse, the rock, and the restaurant all fit the doubloon. That must mean that the rich stuff is near the restaurant.
Josh Brolin,
I know how you feel, Wimp. I'm sure gonna miss this place too.
and Cary Green.
How many more years do I have before I get all fat? Before my hair falls out? Before I look like him?
Let's start with the leader of the Goonies, brought to life by the great Sean Astin.
They are? Uh-huh. Oh, cool.
Mikey Walsh is straight up optimistic and adventurous. He is determined to save the neighborhood from foreclosure and sets out on a treasure hunt with his friends to find One-Eyed Willie's pirate treasure. He's resourceful, brave, and deeply loyal to his friends many times, providing the group with the much-needed hope and motivation they need throughout the film. Now, did you know that Sean Astin is the son of the fabulous Patty Duke and the adopted son of the hilarious John Astin?
But I'm feeling much better now.
Now, according to Sean Astin, he was allowed to keep the treasure map used in the film. Several years after that, his mother found the map, thought it was just an ordinary crinkled up piece of paper, and threw it away.
No way that just happened.
Sean Astin is also noted for forming close bonds with his fellow castmates. As an example of that, he has a tattoo on his ankle of the word 9 written in the Tangwar script, commemorating his Lord of the Rings involvement and his character membership in the Fellowship of the Ring. 7 of the 8 other actors talk about forming a close bond have the same tattoo, including Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, and Orlando Bloom. That brings us to Mikey's best friend, Mouth, played by teen heartthrob and one of the two Coreys, Corey Feldman. In fact, Corey Feldman met fellow child actor and future best friend Corey Haim while auditioning for this movie. Haim was also there to audition for the role of Mouth, but the role went to Feldman instead. And that would happen more than once with the two Coreys in their career, whereas one Corey would audition for the role would somehow go to the other Corey. They would eventually star in 7 movies total, but in Goonies trivia, at the beginning of the movie, you can see Mouth enjoying the movie Some Like It Hot on TV, as well as giving a shout-out to Godfather's Pizza because Straw Hat Pizza refused to participate in this film.
You big dummy.
Now, as many times as I have seen this film in the past, this one scene...
Oh, I don't know. Probably a couple hundred years before President Lincoln, George Washington, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, that's President Kennedy, you idiot!
Well, same difference. I mean, he played Kennedy once.
always had me shaking my head in curiosity because I had never remembered seeing Martin Sheen play Kennedy in any way, shape, or form. However, what he's referring to is the 1983 miniseries Kennedy, nothing movie related.
Oh.
In this film, he's incredibly witty and very sarcastic, oftentimes serving as the comic relief, frequently making jokes and sarcastic remarks, but he also proves to be clever and resourceful in the aspect of solving puzzles and deciphering clues during the events of the film.
How can you do that all in one breath?
He's also known for his ability to speak Spanish, which comes in handy several times throughout the movie. Now, Corey Feldman went on to have an amazing career in the 80s and 90s. Known for his charismatic performances and distinctive style, he oftentimes collaborated with fellow child actor Corey Haim, like I mentioned earlier, and the two became known as the two Coreys.
Did you know that? Of course. Everyone knows that.
By the way, if you want to see them together, check out The Lost Boys and License to Drive if you really want to see them at their best. The chemistry between the two is great. Mikey's older brother is one of the protagonists in the movie, believe it or not. His name is Brand, short for Brandon, and he's played by the very skilled Josh Brolin. Brand is portrayed as a responsible and protective older sibling who initially tries to discourage Mikey and his friends from going on their adventure.
Forget about any adventures, limp lungs. I let you out and Mama ground my ass, and I got a date with Andy on Friday, all right?
Like several other characters throughout the film, Brand goes through a development as he comes to realize the importance of supporting his brother and allowing him to pursue his dreams. Despite his initial reluctance, Brand ultimately joins the Goonies on their adventure and becomes an integral part of the group.
Certainly.
In an awesome way, after years of decline, Brolin had a resurgence with his starring role in the crime film No Country for Old Men. He also received an Academy Award nomination as a Best Supporting Actor for his role in the 2008 film Milk. I love hearing stories of resurgence, and I will get back to that in just 1 second. Here's another
holy shit
kind of moment for you. Josh Brolin is the son of James Brolin and the stepson of Barbara Streisand.
I did not see that coming.
As I said a moment ago, this movie was his film debut. Though he wasn't really notorious for messing up takes, his inexperience did show once in the film. Richard Donner and Steven Spielberg were having an actual, full-sized replica pirate ship being built at the time. Donner, in order to get a genuine surprised look from the kid's face, restricted the kids from seeing it during its construction. When the big moment finally came to reveal the ship, the cameras were set up to catch the Goonies coming out of the slide and see their faces clear as day when they saw the ship. It happened perfectly. The Goonies came out of the water slide, hit the water, looked up, saw the ship, and Josh Brolin screamed out, "Holy shit!" and the shot was ruined.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Blow the Picture for me.
So when you watch the movie, you're going to see the second take, not the first. Eventually, Brolin became frustrated and discouraged and left the world of acting for a time after he saw what he considered to be an awful performance of his on the big screen. He took an extended hiatus and was actually trading stocks when he was tapped for the lead role in the Coen Brothers Academy Award-winning No Country for Old Men. That film became a critical and commercial success, and he would go on to be an American Gangster, Sicario, True Grit, and more recently, Dune 1 and 2. Like I said, I love hearing stories of resurgence.
You would?
And speaking of resurgence, we come to Data, played by Academy Award winner Ke-Huy Quan. He is a key character in this film, known for his inventive gadgets and quirky personality.
Data's okay.
Why didn't you use the stairs?
Use the stairs! 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 The stupid guy's up there telling me to use the stairs when Data's falling. Data's hurt. Nobody's caring anymore. He's okay.
He's very resourceful and at times provides comic relief with his failed inventions and humorous antics. In addition to his inventiveness, Data is too portrayed as a brave and resourceful character, willing to face danger head-on to help his friends. Despite his clumsiness, his intelligence and creativity make him an essential member of the Goonies.
What about the Twinkie?
Exactly. Check this out. After a 19-year hiatus, he returned to acting in 2021 in Finding Ohana, but a year later, he went on to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for the critically acclaimed Everything Everywhere All at Once. He has since starred in the second season of the Disney Plus series Loki.
Groovy.
Quan rose to fame playing Short Round in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. A funny little bit of trivia about him in this movie: unlike his co-stars in the film, you won't see him curse in the Goonies at all. Even when rocks are falling from the ceiling, Quan screams, "Holy S-H-I-T." He said he spelled out the expletive because his mother made him promise not to use any bad language in the film at all.
Little goody two-shoes, little goody two-shoes.
He would go on to have a short cameo in the movie Encino Man, again with Sean Astin, though the two did not have any scenes together. Following a very small string of roles in the 90s, he decided, like Brolin, to take a hiatus. His, however, was for 19 years. He became a stunt coordinator and an assistant director in that time. During a March 2022 New York Magazine interview with Quan to promote his role in Everything Everywhere All at Once, he said that his entertainment lawyer is his Goonies co-star Jeff Cohen. During a January 2023 Hollywood Reporter Actors Roundtable, Kwan said that it was Cohen who drew up his deal to appear in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Quote, "He's all grown now, he's an entertainment lawyer, in fact he's my entertainment lawyer. So when the producer of our movie was trying to make my deal, he said he would never have imagined that he would have to talk to Chunk to get data in his movie." Yeah, it was just so sweet. When Kwan won his Best Supporting Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Cohen was one of the people he thanked in his acceptance speech, calling him my Goonies brother for life. The Goonies are all supposed to be teenagers. However, Jeff Cohen, who plays Chunk, was only 10 years old at the time.
Lucky bastard.
He got the chicken pox after he got the role of Chunk, but showed up to the set anyway, afraid that they would have replaced him otherwise. And it's because of the chicken pox that he felt embarrassed and did not want to do the famous truffle shuffle scene. The look on his face when Mouth tells him to do the truffle shuffle is genuine. But to make him feel more comfortable, Richard Donner had everyone clear the set.
Okay, everybody, out of the pool.
A couple more tidbits here for you. The statue that he breaks in the movie is a replica of the statue of David, and the water bottle scene where Chunk says,
I got it! I got it! I got it! I don't got it.
is actually a nod to a movie called High Anxiety, written by Mel Brooks.
I got it! I got it! I got it! I ain't got it!
How about this? When he sees Jake Fratelli's face when he approaches the car, the Hebrew prayer he says was actually improvised by Cohen. The words he says actually means, "Blessed are you, God," and is the start to many Jewish prayers, including the prayer over wine, bread, and lighting Sabbath candles. Chunk is known for his lovable personality and penchant for overeating, as well as his clumsy antics. He oftentimes finds himself in comedic situations, and despite his clumsiness and tendency to exaggerate, Chunk is a loyal friend that stands by his companions even in the face of danger.
Chunk! No, Captain Chunk!
One of Chunk's memorable scenes involves him befriending Sloth, the deformed and initially intimidating member of the Fratelli family. Their unlikely friendship becomes a heartwarming subplot in the film, showcasing Chunk's compassionate nature.
You want a candy bar?
You do now.
Look, I got a Baby Ruth. Sir?
According to Wikipedia, Jeff Cohen retired from acting at an early age and went on to go to the University of Berkeley, where he received a Bachelor of Science degree in business. Cohen then asked Goonies director Richard Donner for a recommendation for his college admissions application, where upon reading Cohen's notes detailing some of his early life struggles, Donner and his wife offered to pay for Cohen's college education. Cohen later earned a Juris Doctor from UCLA's School of Law and went on to form the law firm Cohen and Gardner. Continuing with our character descriptions,
I'm listening.
we come to Andy, portrayed by actress Carrie Green. She's shown to be a popular and outgoing high school student, initially seen as having a romantic interest in Brand, the older brother of Mikey. Throughout the film, she too demonstrates her bravery and resourcefulness, contributing to the group's efforts to overcome obstacles and find the hidden treasure of One-Eyed Willie. This film was Carrie Green's big break. 2 months later, she would again be on the big screen, this time as the daughter of stressed-out air traffic controller Jack Chester in Summer Rental, starring one of my all-time favorite actors, John Candy.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you. But I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
She gained further critical acclaim when she starred as the center of a love triangle between the characters of one of the two Corys, this time Corey Haim, and Charlie Sheen in the 1986 film Lucas.
You're very good. Not so much when people are watching me. Are you on the team? No, I just moved here. Is there a team? Yeah, at school. Which school? Park High? Yeah. You go there? You look... Younger. Younger. I'm accelerated. Oh, you must be real smart then. Well, I'll see you there when it starts. What's your name? Maggie. Hi, I'm Lucas. Hi.
Green grew up a pretty average child and teenager in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey. Pursuing acting in her teen years, she started small with Jordache commercials. She decided to skip summer camp and attend some movie auditions in New York City instead, thus receiving the attention of Steven Spielberg, who cast her as Andy in the Goonies.
It's the smart move.
Like a couple of her other co-stars, she would go on to quit acting for a while and study art at Vassar College. Years later, she returned to the entertainment realm and received critical acclaim for her direction of the film Belly Fruit and pops up every now and again on television. These days, though, Carrie Green runs a film production company called Independent Women Artists, which she co-founded with Bonnie Dickinson. The final member of the Goonies is Steph, played by the incredible Martha Plimpton.
This is ridiculous. It's crazy. I feel like I'm babysitting, except I'm not getting paid.
Her character is shown to be smart, outspoken, and an independent member of the group. She too becomes known for her sharp wit and sarcastic sense of humor, which she uses to navigate through the challenges they face on their quest. Now, initially, she expresses reluctance to join the adventure, but quickly proves that she can be resourceful and brave, contributing to the valuable insights and ideas along the way.
She's like a total badass bitch.
Throughout the film, Steph's character development highlights her loyalty to her friends and her willingness to confront danger head-on to help them succeed. She forms a close bond to Andy, another member of the group, and together they challenge the stereotypes and expectations placed upon them as young women.
Are you calling me masculine? Because I'm not masculine. I'm feminine. And my softness is out there for all to see.
After this movie and extensive work on film and Broadway, she played the independent teenage daughter of Diane Wiest's character in Parenthood. Parenthood grossed over $120 million and received 2 Oscar nominations. She's also an extreme activist and always rises above her lines in whatever script comes her way. According to his autobiography, Choreography, Corey Feldman and Martha Plimpton didn't get along at all.
That sucks.
She became a vegetarian as a teenager when her boyfriend at the time, the late great River Phoenix, introduced her to the lifestyle. And speaking of River Phoenix, he and Martha Plimpton initially met on the set of Mosquito Coast with Harrison Ford. However, because she was only 15 at the time, she decided not to go out with him. However, they ran into each other again on the set of Running on Empty and then dated briefly.
Well, that's hot.
As if being an activist and movies didn't keep her busy enough, she's also been on Broadway a great many times, like I said before, being nominated for 5 Tony Awards.
She's good.
You have no idea.
And a quick shot of Goonies trivia for you. During filming, Richard Donner made a bet with Martha Plimpton that she would not stop biting her nails. Donner lost and paid up several years later while they were filming the DVD commentary. Ah, the Fratellis. Fratelli is actually an Italian word for brothers, and the entire family is based off of Ma Barker and her boys.
Niente. Kids must have cleaned them out, Mom.
Sure, right before they ate him.
Stupid.
In real life, the banter between Joe Pantoliano and Robert Davi during their joint audition was ultimately what won them their roles for this movie. In reality, Pantoliano and Davi didn't like each other on or off set, and it showed on screen. Even though they didn't get along, though, that doesn't mean they were out to destroy each other's performance. The idea of Francis shooting the gasoline with his pistol in the opening scene was Robert Davi's idea. And a year before this movie hit, they guest starred in Always Elizabeth. The leader of the gang is Mama Fratelli, portrayed by the awesome Anne Ramsey.
Get away from me, you horse's ass!
She's the matriarch of the Fratelli crime family and leads her sons Jake and Francis in their criminal endeavors. Mama Fratelli is ruthless, cunning and manipulative with a tough and domineering personality. She's willing to do whatever it takes to protect her family's interests, including resorting to violence and intimidation.
The only thing we serve is tongue. You boys like tongue?
Throughout the film, Mama Fratelli and her son serve as the primary obstacles to the Goonies' quest to find the treasure of One-Eyed Willie. Now, despite her villainous nature, Mama Fratelli is portrayed with a certain level of dark humor, and Anne Ramsey's performance brings a memorable and menacing presence to that character. According to Wikipedia, Ramsey's somewhat slurred speech, a trademark of her later performances, was caused in part from having some of her tongue and jaw removed during surgery for esophageal cancer in 1984. She received an Academy Award nomination in 1986 for her work on Throw Mama from the Train, a film on which I will be doing a snozcast on here shortly.
Evan! There's a murderer in the house!
Now I got a painful piece of trivia for you here. Anne Ramsey was told to hit Robert Davi as hard as she could when it came time for the slap scenes in this movie. So when you hear,
Always take your side, man, right? You always like them better.
That's right!
that's a real slap. I love Anne Ramsey. She is by far my favorite actor in this movie. She's just super funny in so many parts.
Somebody's been here. The cooler's broken.
Probably a tremor.
Go check your brother.
Well, it could have been a tremor, man.
I'll show you a tremor. Booby traps. It's only booby traps. Why are you being such a sissy?
Like I said, she would go on after this movie to co-star in Throw Mama from the Train and receive an Academy Award nomination for her performance. Sadly, though, she passed away 5 weeks after the movie was released. She was even experiencing serious physical pains and side effects due to her deteriorating condition at the time. But as a person who has seen that movie a great many times, trust me, you'd never be able to tell.
Beat it, champ!
Jake Fratelli, the elder of the three Fratelli brothers, is played by the immensely talented Robert Davi. Like Madeline Kahn, he could straight up sing opera, has been in operas in the past, and on more than one occasion shows that immense talent in this film. Not only can he sing, but he's also depicted as tough, cunning, and intimidating with a gruff demeanor and a propensity for violence.
You schmuck. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to kill me? Kill myself?
Come on, eat my pepperoni then.
Want your pepperoni? Huh?
Come on, let's kill each other
Put
over
that
the
gun
pepperoni.
away! I said put that gun away now!
Always take your side, man, right? You always like them better.
That's right!
Even though he has a villainous nature, Jake occasionally shows moments of vulnerability and hesitation, particularly when faced with the prospect of facing the Goonies directly. Robert Davi's portrayal of Jake Fratelli adds depth and menace to the character, contributing to the overall sense of danger and excitement in the film's adventure-filled storyline.
We're in deep shit now, Francis.
Oh, shit.
When asked what he wanted to sing when he had the camera on him to show off his immense talent, he went with Giacomo Puccini's opera Madame Butterfly.
Una furtiva lacrima.
Not to mention this weird little twist, Data is totally into James Bond, right? Well, Robert Davi would go on to play the main antagonist in the James Bond film License to Kill 4 years later. He would also go on to play Special Agent Johnson in Die Hard.
This is Agent Johnson. No, the other one. I want that air support ready to lift off in 5 minutes. Damn right, fully armed. We're on the way.
And Police Deputy Chief Phil Heineman in one of the better Predator movies, Predator 2. His first album, Davy Sings Sinatra, On the Road to Romance, hit number 6 on the Billboard Jazz charts. And in 2016, he replaced Jerry Doyle as radio host for a nationally syndicated radio program on Talk Radio Network. Francis Fratelli is the middle brother and portrayed by the very funny Joe Pantoliano.
Fellas, what's your job description? No, you two. What is your job description? I'll tell you. TNT. Tactical Narcotic Team. Keyword. Tactical. Displaying finesse and subtlety in achieving a goal. Tell me, gentlemen, what was subtle about your work today?
Francis is shown to be volatile and unpredictable, oftentimes even bumbling in contrast to his more composed and intimidating older brother Jake. Regardless of his shortcomings, though, Francis is a formidable threat. Pantoliano adds a layer of complexity to the character, balancing his comedic moments with occasional glimpses of menace and intimidation. His performance contributes to the dynamic and entertaining villainous trio that opposes the Goonies in their quest to find the treasure of One-Eyed Willie. Now, if you want to know what this guy has done since, how about these titles for starters? The Sopranos, Bad Boys 1 and 2, and The Matrix. Over 150 titles across film, television, and theater.
Holy shit.
Damn right. Joe Pantoliano first grew to fame as Guido the Killer Pimp in 1983's Risky Business. Like I made mention, he's been in over 150 roles, but one of my all-time favorite roles of his was as Deputy U.S. Marshal Cosmo Renfro in The Fugitive.
You call Judge Rubin, you tell him I want a whole bunch of phone taps,
Why are you yelling
and
at me?
I'll call him up later and
What?
tell him on who,
He's always
if
yelling at
I'm in
me.
a good
Why
mood.
don't you yell at her sometime?
Now, more recently, he published 2 memoirs and is quite active in the field of mental health, having documented both he and his mother's issues. He founded the nonprofit No Kidding, Me Too, which is dedicated to removing the stigma of mental illness.
I like you.
That brings us to the final actor in our character description. His name is John Matzuzak, and he's ringing in as Sloth. Starting with his NFL career, he was the first overall pick in the 1973 draft, with his longest stint being with the LA Raiders, and that was for 6 years. He initially started with the Houston Oilers, who went on to become the Tennessee Titans, and he retired from the NFL altogether after winning his second Super Bowl in 1981. He's introduced to us as the disfigured, muscular, and incredibly intimidating member of the Fratelli family that's become an unlikely ally to the Goonies. Sloth is initially kept locked away in the basement by his family due to his appearance and mental state. However, his gentle nature and kind heart are unveiled when he forms a bond with Chunk. His transformation from a misunderstood outcast to a beloved friend of the Goonies is a heartwarming subplot in the film. His character also adds another layer of depth and emotional resonance to the story, showcasing the themes of acceptance, friendship, and loyalty. John Matzuzak's portrayal of Sloth is both memorable and endearing, contributing to the lasting popularity of the Goonies. Matzuzak got into acting during the 80s and had numerous guest appearances on TV shows such as Perfect Strangers,
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change. No matter what
MASH, The Dukes of Hazzard,
Just a good old boy.
Silver Spoons,
Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons.
and The A-Team. But more so remembered for Sloth, if anything. And I say remembered because unfortunately this talented man passed away of an accidental overdose in 1989. Well, that was part 1 on the cast and crew of the Goonies. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you, but before I let you move on to part 2, here's 5 random pieces of trivia that didn't make it into this Snozcast. The Walsh family home is a real home on the eastern end of town. The road leading to the home was closed to tours in 2015.
Fascinating.
There's another character in the movie that I didn't mention because of time restraints, but Lupe Entreveros, who played the non-English speaking Rosalita, was in fact US born and spoke English perfectly. She actually helped the script team with the English-Spanish translation of the hilarious lines said to her by mouth, and even helped him phonetically at times learn the lines during rehearsals, as Corey didn't actually know the Spanish language, or at least as well as he appeared to within this film.
Fascinating.
In the storybook of the film, One-Eyed Willie's backstory is told by Francis Fratelli when the Fratellis take the doubloon from Chunk. One-Eyed Willie, whose real name is William B. Portobello, was a court jester before becoming an ingenious pirate when he was banished from 5 Spanish courts for his practical jokes and formed a band of pirates who robbed, looted, and plundered hundreds of the king's ships and accumulated a treasure worth millions. Willie's ship, the Inferno, was attacked by 3 of the king's ships, and Willie steered his ship into a hidden underground cavern and was sealed within by cannon fire from the British. Willie and his men had spent a couple of years trying to repair the ship and had built underground caves with weird booby traps trying to protect the treasure, and one of Willie's men escaped to tell Willie's story, which became a legend.
Interesting concept.
The wall calendar shows October of 1985. Mouth also indicates that it's a Saturday. The newspaper front page scene when Steph finds it in the basement is dated October 24th, 1985, which was a Thursday. All this would mean that the action takes place on Saturday, October 26th, 1985, which, incidentally, happens to be the exact same day on which the events of the original Back to the Future took place.
Ooh, that's interesting.
According to Chris Columbus, he came up with the idea for the Goonies because he grew up in a factory town in Ohio where there was nothing to do. When Columbus was a kid, he would go into abandoned coal mines during the summertime. Originally, he was going to set the movie in Ohio. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my lengthy look at the cast of the Goonies. If you have any questions or want me to review a particular movie, you can hit me up at snozcast@yahoo.com. You can find me doing fun stuff on my social media pages, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, simply by searching the word Snozcast. If you're a new listener, I genuinely want to thank you for giving me a little bit of your time today, and to the rest of my friends and family,
in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.